Good evening once again, one and all, and welcome back to round 3 now of the Positive Perception GT Championship. I hope you've all had a good couple of weeks. Apologies for not keeping up with the broadcast last week. Unfortunately, I was indisposed. But we are back, and we are back at Silverstone. Fantastic home soil for the championship. So let's just have a quick look of, I believe, the winners from last week, which unfortunately we missed, were for the hour endurance for GT3, was Remy Papin took first place. Simon Boat was second and Ryan Rees was third in the GT3 class. And then for the GT4s, it was Jake Mills took the win there. Anthony Brown and then Richard Dixley took the third place on the podium for that one. Let us have a look at what the championship standings are for the moment. So you can see after the championship standings so far, we have Remy Papin leading. So apologies for the laggy stream. Should hopefully sort out itself out in a minute. We're just waiting for the sessions to organise themselves, and I do have. Let us bring in who I need to bring in, and I am joined by Mark and Toby. How are you both this evening?
Good. Looking forward to this one.
Good.
Good evening. Good.
I'm very well, thank you.
Fantastic. What are both your thoughts on Silverstone this evening?
Love it as a track.
Go on, Mark. You go ahead.
It's one of those tracks. It's a classic. It's very technical. It's actually a lot more high downforce than you expect. It's one of those tracks you can just get a lovely flow around, and really enjoy driving around it.
Well, I was going to echo exactly the same. This is a real driver's circuit. The drivers are all going to enjoy driving this track tonight. There's a race going on as well, but never mind. They're just going to enjoy going around the track. And I think for us, McRae, it's going to be great. There's so many overtaking places as well. The last one that we did together, the last stream, was Kyalami. Silverstone's a very different track, much higher speed and much more opportunity to get in the slipstream and go side by side.
Indeed it is. So we are just joining the track action now. As qualifying has begun. Just get that there
So I'm watching it live on screens.
Oh yes, waiting for your turn, isn't it? But yes, 10 minutes of qualifying for the GT3s has begun. There were some quick times. I think there was in practice as well some very quick times coming through the board. Who's going to be one to watch, I reckon, for this one?
Johnny Seville. If he doesn't claim pole, I will be very surprised. That's my pick.
That is the pick. Where is he at the moment? Currently P11th. But I think still has warming himself up a bit in the Ferrari. So I guess, is there a particular car that may benefit more from Silverstone, or is it still very, very much evened out?
I would say the Ferrari's probably got a bit more top end, so it should handle the hanger straight a little bit better. But expect the Bentley to be up there as well. Cooley, Ryan Rees, they should push for the top spot as well.
So he's not safe by any means.
It's Johnny. He's one of those drivers. If he needs to put a quick lap in, he will put a very quick lap in.
Quite 6 minutes left. A bit of traffic ahead of him, so hopefully he's trying to get some clear track in front of him for a good time. Any thoughts on who's going to be quickest in the GT4s? Are you pinning all your hopes on yourself?
No, I've been looking at the practice times, and it's a Porsche track, so
I see.
it'll be Pixley and it'll be Jake probably, and then the rest of us scrapping for position.
Indeed. So yes, yeah, it's looking good. It's definitely looking good.
Looking cloudy.
So currently, oh, they're changing around already.
There you go. I said Johnny would go top, and he already has.
He has indeed. Ready. There we go. So 157.6. So it looked very calm lap, to be honest. It looked like he was on a lap, so it made that look very easy.
Very measured driver.
Yeah, very putting the quickest lap in. Who's got a fair bit. I think we're going to still change the bit rate to the end. Time's coming in now, so we have Mr. Wilkes and the Aston Martin lining up on the front row at the moment. Shade half a second off in the Aston.
That's a big gap.
Well, yes, racing driver land it is, isn't it? It could be might as well be a mile. Yes. Can that time be made up, you reckon, in the Aston, or Seville got it?
Wilkes is a very good driver, so yeah, I imagine he could. One I've just noticed is the guy in a similar colour car to me, Mr. Neuterling's car 666. He only started doing his setup round about an hour ago. Okay. Night was very encouraging. I sort of threw him into the BMW and went, there you go, it's your car for the week.
Have that.
Yeah.
So what was he racing before?
Sorry, no. Well, start of the series even. Sorry, it's been a long day for me.
Oh, I see now. Sorry.
That's what that is.
From the start of the season. So is he still getting used to it then, I guess?
Yes. I can't say what he called it to me in a private message.
So if you put it in there, just slow him down, or you just wanted both BMWs in the team?
I wanted two BMWs in the team. It's a car I'd never normally drive. It's one I've never driven actually as a GT4 or GT3, and I like to be different. So I had originally painted it for myself to use as a GT3, but I thought I'll drop back to GT4 because it's a class I love.
No, it certainly adds a bit more depth, isn't it, being having to deal with your own race and the other quicker cars around you.
Oh, for sure. I love multi-class racing. It's just amazing to watch. It's amazing to be involved with. It's lovely that we can actually do it as a sim.
Very interesting to watch. The nearly 3 minutes qualifying remaining. Mr. Papin with a 0.189 behind Deville's time in the DTR. Certainly got something up his sleeve, possibly.
Money. That's a very good time.
I do love that livery as well. I don't know. I have yet to ask him where the inspiration came for the French Godzilla.
Yes, it's unique. I like it though. It's very good. We've got a lot of fantastic liveries. With a lot of fantastic designers as well. Not just me. But we've got a couple of cars from Justin. Well beloved of JW Designs, got a couple from Steve Hinden, Esports Designs, and then we've got a few just from people who've had a go, done their own, like all the Celtic Club Romance guys.
Yes, no, I think they do sort of stick to their own colour scheme, don't they? I think from the touring car days and stuff, they've all had the same red, green and white sort of flag livery going, dragon livery, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you guys because I'm up.
Not a problem.
So,
good luck for your session.
Thank you. I'll drop in later on.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. Toby, you have a chance to speak now.
Yeah, I was just worrying. Too many cooks. With this, of course, being Mark's series, he is the brains behind this series. I thought I wouldn't take any of his airtime. So great to have him on, of course. Great to hear from the organizer. But he is, of course, a racer in this series as well. So he's got to go out and get ready for GT4 qualifying.
Indeed.
So
which is in just less than a minute, I think.
Yeah, so what will happen is the GT3 cars will start to peel off into the pits. I don't know if any of them are still on a quick lap, but they will complete their times. Looks like Jonathan Seville's going for a quicker time, but hasn't managed to do it. Or is that... No, that's down at Cops, isn't it?
I think that is
No, it
halfway.
was. So he has completed his laps now. So yes, this is the 10-minute mark. This is the point at which Jonathan will now peel back into the pits, and the GT4 runners will start to emerge on the 10-minute mark. That's
see
how it
some
works.
of them popping in. They all tried to get a lot closer to Seville's time, didn't they? To tap in with the one.
Could I just
0.18.
just say, Matt Cooley, where did that time come from? All of a sudden, the Hobnobs car has got up into third place, and that's a tremendous effort from Matt Cooley. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So everyone's starting to peel off. We need to look at who is in that position. So the GT4s have now been released. So they will start to make their way out. There we are.
Look at that fantastic sight as they stream through the S's at Maggots and Beckett's. So a couple of stories to come out of qualifying there. One is Matt Cooley's time to put him top of the pile, right at third in the tree, right at the death. I also noticed that the fantastic versatility of manufacturers at the top of the table. So I think in the top 10 there's 6 or 7 different manufacturers in the GT3 category. With, of course, the Ferrari on pole, Jonathan Seville, but not by as comfortable a margin as maybe he would have expected after practice.
No, I don't think so. He was certainly pushing, and he was tipped as the fastest driver, which he has proven. But yeah, the others do have a slight something in the tank to try and get him. So it's all going to come down to that one, to that first corner, as it always does.
Yeah, and the other story, just as the GT4 guys are now getting started on their laps, so they're going through the motions of heating up the tyres, etc., probably won't see a representative time on this first lap from anyone, but they will be building up. The other story from the GT3s is it looks like Harry Mears, who is in that gorgeous liveried Porsche that we commented on at Kyalami, did not manage to set a time in qualifying for GT3s. So we very much hope that he is still in the lobby. That he will be taking the start, but yes, unfortunately not able to get a time in.
Well, it shows him as 18th at the moment, so potentially I think towards the end.
It does.
Who's showing him 22nd? It's showing as Tobias
Oh,
Eriksson.
do you know what that was? He would have disconnected and rejoined. That's probably what that was.
Hopefully, so on his screen he had a time. That's got him going. But there, Tobias Eriksson, the last of the GT3s.
Yeah, interesting to see actually that Harry Mears has set exactly the same qualifying time as Peter Phillips ahead of him.
Okay, interesting. Who do we have? We have someone on the GT4 still on the pitch. Lisa Keane.
Lisa Keane. Let's take a look at those GT4 runners now. They should be coming up to complete their first laps, and well, I mean, the championship so far has been all about 2 people, Anthony Brown and Richard Pixley. Those, they were the 2 front runners when we were watching at Kyalami last, and missed the last round on the stream, but we are with you for the rest of the season. So the remaining 4 rounds of the Positive Perception at GT Series will be streamed with myself and McRae. But yeah, it was a very similar story, although Mr. Pixley did manage to pull some points back. So very keen on watching that championship battle unfold, and indeed whether any of the rest of the GT4 field can get anywhere near the top 2 here at Silverstone.
It should be quite exciting. So Richard Pixley took the 3rd place in last round, and then Anthony Brown was 2nd and Jake Mills was 1st. So not sure what happened there, but quite interesting.
Yes, Jake Mills, I don't think we saw him at Kyalami, or if he was, though, he had a very quiet afternoon. So yeah, I mean, well, you are quite right. Of course, having won the last GT4 race, he should be considered in the running for the championship as well. But obviously, from not having that score from Kyalami, he's is not representative of his pace where he currently sits at the table.
Argy going on in qualifying at the moment. Anthony Brown, who we were just talking about, is trying to get round Mr. Rogers. Couldn't do it, so I think he's backing off now to try and get some clear air. For a flying lap. No one's set a time as of yet. Mr. Adam Bent in the only Ginetta, I believe, of the grid.
Yes, I'm surprised about that. I'm surprised not more people went with the Ginetta. I mean, it's got a reputation for not being the quickest car, but it is one of the nicest to drive, one of the nicest handling cars. And well, that's a representative lap time put down straight away from Mr. Rogers. Colin Dunn, what's that, 200ths of a second behind him, so really, really close over the course of a full lap here at Silverstone.
Yes. Again, all bunching up over each other. I think they're all released at the same time. They're all very keen to get going.
Yeah,
So they've all got tripping over themselves slightly.
Richard Pixley's laid down the gauntlet there with is the quickest GT4 time so far, but Mark Radner will be pleased with that, sitting as he is just 2/10 behind, currently in second place. And it's Jake Mills.
Missed Pixley in the Porsche. Nice little livery for that one. And number 11. And he's on his own. Who's behind him? Missed Raddenbury. So he's putting a good time as well. So 0.8-ish of a second behind. A little bit not. So a little bit less, 0.2. But still a very, very close gap. You've got to remember though, with both the international and national pit straights, you've got to remember which one they're actually using.
Yes, I haven't quite identified from the trackside camera which is which yet. Sorry, I'm just.
That's all right.
I've hit a button that I shouldn't have done on Discord. So.
They're currently going through. Going past the international. They are currently at.
There we go. I've got back to where I wanted to be now. My apologies. Right, so still a few drivers. So Jamie Buchanan, Lisa Keane, Gary Messenger at the bottom of the table, currently without a time on the board. And Lisa Keane feeling the need to stay in the pit lane. So I wonder whether she's got some sort of technical issue that is preventing her from getting out in qualifying. Gary Messenger, we saw have a very interesting race at Kyle Army, didn't we?
No, it was good. Can't miss that with the green and the black. Very striking.
Yes, he'll be hoping for a more settled evening this evening, I'm sure. Silverstone is one of those tracks which everyone who's certainly grown up in the UK knows because of the association with Formula One. But equally, there is a lot of motorsport that happens at Silverstone. A lot of motorsport. Pretty much every series I know visits it at some point. So drivers who either who drive in real life or are fans of motorsport and have attended motor racing events will have been to Silverstone at some point. So I'm sure this will be a very special one for quite a few people.
It is a good place to visit. You get there's a lot of it's not just on the circuit as well. There's a lot of development and around the surrounding area, and yeah, it's very easy place to get to. Very good to visit. You as soon as you come off the final motorway and head towards that sort of avenue, if you will, before turning into a circuit, it does get that certain sense of that atmospheric feeling going into it. It's a good circuit.
Yeah, definitely. And but you're saying about the surrounding architecture there. They've just built a new hotel at Silverstone.
Yes.
Over the last couple of years, and already it is fully booked for British Grand Prix weekends.
I can imagine
for the next 2 years.
That literally overlooks the circuit, so it's like...
It does. It overlooks the pit straight. You can probably sort of, if you stay in the top floor of the hotel, probably watch the race from your hotel.
Exactly. Yes. A bit like Monaco, I think, isn't it? A lot of them have got properties up there and just sit on their balcony watching the Grand Prix.
Anyway, let's look at what's going on track. So, watching, Anthony Brown, you picked up there, has now hit the top of the table. But Mark Raddenberry's also improved, passing Richard Pixley and Jake Mills, who's now sitting in 4th place in class. Just behind them is Lee Ward, and a shout out to Lee, actually. He's not had the best start to the season either. That is a very good time from him, very respectable time. And that is a nice livery as well. Nice and clean. Simple but effective. So yeah, he'll be delighted to be up there in 5th at the moment in the GT4 category.
It's a yellow flag, so it's Mr. Pickley pulling off to return to the pits.
So he will start no higher than 3rd.
Find a few seconds of qualifying remaining. I think that's pretty much going to seal the deal. Anthony Brown, Mark Raddenberry are your front row sitters.
Yeah, so this man, Jake Mills, is on a lap, and he is one of those drivers that could potentially challenge for pole. Now, we've got another duo here, Pixley and Mills, who are currently shown as being on exactly the same lap time. So even 1,000th of a second improvement for Jake Mills. We'll see him move up, so it is definitely worth keeping pushing until the end of this lap, which he is approaching now.
A couple of corners left to go. Down into
Club.
Brooklyn.
No, this is the final section there. So into Club and Vale, and out through the final corner. Does he improve? Is this a better time for Jake Mills? The answer is no, it's not. He stays in 4th in class. He'll be frustrated with that, setting the same time as Richard Pixley, but starting behind. Jamie Buchanan's got himself on the timing screens.
Yep.
And no time from Lisa Keane or from Gary Messenger, who we did see having a spin or two. So where? I was going to say where is Lee Ward, but that's answered that question. He's just pulled into. He's just completed his final lap. So there will be no improvement from Lee Ward.
There we are. Jake Mills does come across the line.
Now, there is me thinking, they're using the F1, the full Grand Prix circuit, so they must be using the F1 pits. But of course they don't in the GT series. They exit from the old pits down by Cops. So a rookie error there.
That's right. But so there he is. He did actually improve on his time in the end.
Yeah, so it's not the finish line I thought it was. So they are.
It's a loading.
Now, they're now completed. And yes, Jake Mills did improve. You're right, but only as far as 3rd. So it is Anthony Brown on pole position in the GT4 class ahead of Mark Raddenberry. We will hope to run you through the grid in both classes before the session gets underway. But before we do that, McRae, your thoughts on just the way that the championship's developed so far. We've got this really interesting situation where we watched in Kyalami and we saw the top 3. We saw Ash Knight take the win from Jonathan Seville and Miles Dixon. The series then went on to Imola, which sadly we were not able to spectate and commentate on. But at that event, those 3 drivers missed the event, so we actually had a completely different podium from the first race, which means that the championship table at the moment is looking really wide open because we've had very different sets of drivers really competing in both sets of races.
So yeah, it's not really settled into. That's good, isn't it? Because it hasn't settled into like a 1-horse race, really, hasn't it? At this point, if after 2 rounds the entire field has sort of shuffled a little bit, so should be some good fighting race for that one. And I think even for this session, it's changed up a little bit, isn't it?
Take a look at the top of GT3. We still have Jonathan Seville on pole position, but even though he has taken 2 poles out of 2 in the races that he's taken part in, if that makes sense, we've not got a runaway championship leader because he missed the last round, so he's down on points. The points leader is actually the French Godzilla, Mr. Remy Papin, who I believe he starts second on the grid as well, does he not?
I believe he should. There is just a couple of little technical things that I think we'll have to be able to break that onto the screen. They are all lining up for the moment.
So whilst we're looking at that, let's just...
Do we have our pulse for...
Look through McRae whilst you sort your technical issues, that's fine. So in the GT3 category, just to run through it, is Remy Papin in the Nissan who leads the way, and Ryan Rees in second place in the championship, sort of very quietly made his way up into the top echelons. He's a couple of top 10 finishes is enough to get him second overall in the table, which is fantastic. He's in the Bentley. Simon Wilkes is third in the Aston Martin. Fourth overall is Kiki Mack in a Lexus, and then in fifth we've got Callum McGough in a McLaren. So five in the top 10 in the championship in the point standings. So that just goes to show that over the races we've done so far, there is clearly no one dominant car.
No, and that is that's good to see. That's going to be exciting for the race ahead. There is still the clicking on. I'm because my because my face is still on the screen. It's just basically my face looking as I click things. So apologies. While they all line up, we currently have a minute of the to go until the race. So the cars are looking good. We'll be back very shortly for the race. That's Matt Cooley taking third at the moment in front of the Hotnobs car, and Papin does take.
And that's very squiggly, but
that's
just about held it.
Briefly, Papin had the lead, and then Seville saw the opportunity to get random again. We have Seville still in first, but look at how much more grunt the GTR seems to have down the straight. Side by side once again, no one's getting away quite yet, are they?
Just about to come into the first real test of the brakes with a full fuel load as they brake heavily down into Club and Vale. Papin's trying to go around the outside,
Cold
but no,
ties
Jonathan
as well.
Seville's not having any of that.
And there we are. By the time they come out of Club Circuit, it is still Seville in the lead. You can see the Celtic Bromance cars as well. Everyone getting through. There's enough space in the circuit. I think everyone's got through very, very unscathed. As opposed to Kyle Army, which was almost like a street circuit, kicking up the dust in the background. Everyone trying to use as much of the circuit as they can. Go through the loop, down through Adrian and the Wellington Straight. It looks like Seville's just about eking out just over a half a second gap now over his nearest competitors. You can see the 4 horses as well, opening up the gap from the rest of the field, all the way down to Mr. Knight in 5th. So whether they can hold on to that, we shall see. Remy Papin in second, tried his best. I think he knew that on the first lap he was going to have to make much of an effort to control the race from the front. He's not managed it, and Seville is now starting to get away from him. And then Daniel Morris with the Bentley for Paul Simsport, trying to reel him in.
Matt Cooley, hasn't he?
He did. He got the jump very early on, before I think they'd even got halfway around the lap. And one Bentley getting away from the other, and now Matt Cooley's
all the way up
into
to
fourth.
fifth already is Ash Knight. Ash started 10th on the grid, so that's an incredible start for Ash Knight to get all the way up into 5th on the opening lap. So yeah, great first lap from Ash Knight. And he's now going to go hunting down those 4 ahead of him.
He's certainly going to try, isn't he? He wants to bridge that gap before they can get too much of a pace on as they come down to the end of the Wellington Straight. Looking further down the grid, a little gaggle of cars. We'll just have a quick look at the GT4s, and that is still led by Richard Pixley from leading from pole. Jay Mills, who started third, I believe, and now is in second place. And there are some, so there have been, I think, some instances, because we've got JP McKinley, Tobias Eriksson, and Kiki Max, both Celtic Bromance competitors further down the order behind the GT4, so I think something must have happened to them at the moment. Skipping car number 31, but I think he's made it out on track, who was Ferengi, who was originally in the pit to begin with. There's certainly a big fight going on in the GT4s, like the amount of cars that are gaggled together. Mark Raddenberry in the middle of that battle as well. They've got a GT3, which is Ferengi in the Porsche, trying to get round. Takes the inside line. There's contact between GT3 and GT4, so a bit forceful trying to get round. That's cost Mark Raddenberry a place to Mr. Keane, I believe. So all happening at the back. And looking back at the front, relatively unchanged. Mr. Papin trying to catch up to the back of that Ferrari. But it's not looking good for him. Starting to eke out the gap. 0.6 per second between Papin and Morris. Coming down slightly as we get to the end of Wellington Straight. I believe, let's have a quick check. I believe, unfortunately, Mr. Toby Owen has had to dip out of the commentary box for the moment, just trying to do a restart on his computer due to a technical issue. It was looking so good as well from our end, but I can tell you, Assetto Corsa Competizione can be a fairly demanding platform to broadcast from. So there's still a few little bugs creeping in just as we're trying to bring you the show, but we're trying our best here. As we are watching Mr. Morris in the Bentley for the Pole Simsport driver, the highest place of the Simsport crew. And I
have rejoined you, Mr. McRae.
Hey! I did wonder if it all went silent, whether your internet had just completely put out. You back?
Yes, apologies for the technical difficulties. I hope to be fully back with you now and fully audible as well.
It sounds better.
Yeah, had a bit of a restart, so hopefully that sorts all of the issues. So, yes, as you were, I'll have to just bring myself up to speed with what's going on.
Bring up, indeed. So Mr. Seville on lap 3 still leads the race and eking out nearly over a second on Remy Papin in second. And Danny Morris is still in third, trying to reel him in. Well, the gap's sort of holding at 0.6 at the moment. And then Matt Cooley and actually what's the gap now between Matt Cooley and fourth?
Ash Knight, when we last checked in with Ash Knight, he was starting to pull away from those behind him. He's absolutely not now.
He's not. No.
Simon Wilkes is catching back up and bringing a whole train of cars with him. So that's Ryan Rees just behind, Paul Lindsay just a little bit further back as well. Then there is a bit of a gap back to Mark Neudlings in 9th. But yeah, at this stage of the race, 7 minutes in, it's still pretty much nose to...
It is indeed. They're not all getting away from each other quite yet. I think we might see in the next couple of laps a move from Wilkes on Mr. Knight. And there is...
Looks like, by the way, as well, I mean, Diragi's got going in the number 42,
Yes.
currently sitting in 21st, and having now passed the GT4 runner, which is Richard Pixley. So he did get up to speed, but running at the not quite at the tail end of GT3 at the moment. He's got Tobias Eriksson for company. As you said, I think just before I disappeared, there may have been some firsts that we didn't quite spot.
No, there was certainly some cars. There's a BMW going particularly slowly. That is car number 666, which is currently sitting in 9. But on it does have Mr. Mears right behind him, so whether he's had a little bit of an off in the BMW...
There was some dust kicked up, so
there was, wasn't there?
perhaps
So
it went a bit wide at Maggots and Beckett's.
it will update itself once it comes across the line once again, but there we are. So Neutlings is now in 10th with the Porsche Mears, because McGuff and Mears were battling for position. And then Neutlings just sort of slipped in the middle, so I think Mears is going to be a little bit annoyed that he's being held up now. But I mean, it's a massive slide from the 423.
Oh, he'll be even more annoyed about that.
Yes.
He'll have forgotten about he'll be frustrated with himself instead.
I think he wasn't ready for the slower pace of the BMW, though, wasn't he? I think that just caught him out on rotating the car.
Dropped a long way. I think he's only dropped one position, but about 10 seconds lost there, just trying to clear the dirt and rubbish off his tyres before he heads into Stowe Corner. But we've got Rob Jackson in the pits now. This is much for being in the pit window. Now, is he genuinely in the pits, or has he disconnected and will reappear any minute now?
It would appear so. It's skipping over his position. It does. There is Deregi, who moves up to 19th, ahead of Tobias Eriksson. Let's have a quick look at the GT4s.
I think Rob Jackson's retired, sadly. Yeah, so here we go then. So the top two in GT4 still in each other's wheel tracks. Richard Pixley leading from Jake Mills, who took the win last time out at Imola. We've got Rogers in third, and then a significant gap actually back to Anthony Brown. So the GT4s are much more spaced out in these opening laps than the GT3 cars have been. So I don't know if anything happened. We certainly didn't see anything major, but quite a lot of the field of a GT3 car.
I think trying to filter through them, you can see there's the BMW behind Mr. Adam Bent, I think that was, in the Ginetta. So all of the bright lights of the BMW as it's getting fairly dark out. So they've decided to use their light at the moment.
That's Mark Roddenberry behind Adam Dart to this race.
It is.
As I said, there's quite a few that are spaced out.
Yeah, the BMW looks so big it could almost be a GT3 car. But
almost looks like a touring car, doesn't it?
It does a little bit, doesn't it? Mark Roddenberry looks
very incongruous GT car. I've always thought real life equivalents. They don't quite look like GT3 cars. They
don't, do they?
A bit too boxy for my liking.
But no, the Ginetta's holding off the BMW, with Mark Roddenberry looking to take the inside line once again as they go through Copse.
This is a fascinating battle because the Beamer's quicker in a straight line, but the Ginetta's in front now. And he's coming onto a fast section down the Hanger Straight, so he is hoping to be able to leave that Ginetta behind. But of course, the boxy shape of that BMW would be punching a big hole in the air for Adam Bent to get a massive slipstream. So let's see how that resolves itself.
Adam's flashing his lights. He's trying to chase down the BMW. But I don't think he's going to do it. You can see how much of a gap.
Differential.
Once the track was open, the BMW just floored it and is just pulling away.
Yeah, so this is why the Gillette is possibly not the most popular car. It is a lovely car to drive, but on power circuits like this, where you've got all of these long straights, it does have quite a disadvantage. You can see him closing up in the corners, but now we're on to another straight, and that BMW is going to disappear again. It is a position gained for Mark Roddenberry, who's now up to 6th in the GT4 category, and he's got Lee Ward just ahead of him in the yellow car. But at the head of this this battle, Jake Mills is right on the back of Richard Pixley now. This is closed right up. And look at there. Yeah, there we go. He's in the slipstream, heading down towards Brooklands. And Richard Pixley's being given a workout in this race.
He certainly is indeed. It's Porsche against Porsche. So we said that was going to be the more suited car to the circuit. He's certainly trying. They are approximately 0.3 of a second separated from each other, I believe. But it's all going to come down to driver skill on that one, being so close together.
That's one of our close battles, of course. There's plenty going on throughout the field. Once again, we're going to be struggling to know where to look. There's quite a battle going on for 5th at the moment between Simon Wilkes, who's still boxed in behind Ash Knight, and Ryan Rees, who looks like he's absolutely in the wheel tracks. And there's Matt Cooley as well with Ash Knight now right behind him. So yeah, they're all stacking up. The top 2 have made a bit of a break for it.
So Matt Cooley's back up in 3rd, and
we've lost Daniel Morris.
Mr. Morris is now down in 8th. So that must have been a major off for him to lose so many positions. I don't think he entered the pit because the pit window's not open yet. So
no, that's not enough for a pit stop either.
No, it's not.
Gap.
No.
It looks like he's had an off somewhere.
So he's not under pressure from anyone in particular, but he's got this whole group of gaggle of cars as we have Ryan Rees in 6th, trying to chase down Wilkes. That is a couple of GT3s getting round. That is Lisa Keane.
Yes, yeah, so
with a bit of damage.
Well out of the way with Rees now up alongside Simon Wilkes, but trying to go the long way around through Club and Vale, but he's made it work. Oh,
just about. He's got the inside line.
There.
Pushing
Plenty
Sam.
of space given. But yeah, that was Simon Wilkes possibly didn't expect to find the Bentley still alongside him, but an aggressive but clean move from Ryan Rees there, and he is now up into 5th.
No, that was a spin. Where has he gone?
Oh no.
Just
the
holds on.
Curse of the commentator.
Indeed. That's Mr. Morris trying to get round as well. Just makes it work. Mr. Rees trying to hold a wheel on the outside now at the loop. Doesn't do it and has to concede. But Morris lunged for that one. He saw another space as they come up to the back of Lisa Keane's car again. Back in. They did that.
So Ryan Rees did all the hard work, that move done, and surprised Simon Wilkes, and then unfortunately surprised himself the following corner, and just lost the back end. But yeah, did well to keep it from spinning completely round, but frustratingly down to 8th again for Ryan Rees.
Simon Wilkes let off the hook, but does look like Paul Lindsay's trying to chase him down. In car number 2, that gap's certainly getting smaller.
Yeah, the anime-themed car, Paul Lindsay, and we did see him at Curlon. He had a quietly successful race, I think it's fair to say. And he's in the same sort of position now. I think he was sort of top 6, so racking up the points. Oh, there's a big conflagration of cars just ahead of this.
Wow, yes, there is. There's 3 wide, and there's contact between the Hobnobs car and a GT, and that's Adam Bent as well that's hit. And contact again with the GT3, it's Ash Knight, Mr. Cooley.
And then that's
Paul Lindsay's been involved in that. Adam Bent's been involved.
Carnage.
There is indeed. So there goes Ryan Rees. Morris gets through. Wilkes gets through. You've got Messenger getting pushed very wide, very forcibly by Sam.
That all came about because there were some GT3 cars who were not patient enough in getting
No.
past the GT4s. And we saw another car spinning in the background there, which I think was Lee Ward, and he's just got himself a drive-through.
Lee Ward, he does, doesn't he? Who is... Right, so let's look at... On track. On track, though, the gap has really come down between Seville and Papin. Half a second now. On lap 8.
Everybody else for third has just been doing pirouettes. So these two have now got an absolutely huge lead.
They have indeed. I would have thought the Ferrari was going to get held up by the GT4, but no, he managed to get round very cleanly. Slowed up a little bit. But it's all been happening. There's another opportunity appeared for Mr. Papin, as he can, if he can make that opportunity work for him, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Pit windows now just opened as well, so they have 25 minutes for their mandatory stop, which will include tyres and fuel.
Yeah, now we said this at Kyalami, didn't we? I thought that at Kyalami would see people wait for as long as possible in that pit window, just so they could make sure that they were coming out of the pits on the tyres that were in the best possible condition. But we actually didn't see very many people go for that strategy. We saw a lot of people pit early. And oh, now this is interesting, because the two cars they're coming up against, that's the GT4 lead battle.
That is indeed, yes.
So we've got the GT3 lead battle.
Who are going for a manoeuvre as well. They're all nearly 4 wide. The Ferrari's just picked his way round.
Papin tries to throw it up the inside, but yeah, they just about made it through there.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult, isn't it? I mean, we talk about the GT3s needing to be patient, but otherwise you see incidents like we saw a couple of laps ago caused by GT3s being impatient. But you're the race leader, you've got the second place guy right behind you in your mirrors. You just want to get on with it, don't you?
You do. Once the red mist descends, you don't want to be held up by anything.
Yeah, so you do see it from both sides.
So we can actually, for the time being, look at the lead battle for both. I think that was a major opportunity for Jack Mills to try and get the lead of GT4s, but couldn't quite make it work. All of the 8 or 9 laps he could have done it, and that's the corner that everything happens at once, and it all could have changed quite dramatically in that moment. So we have some people in the pits already. Mr. Knight, I think, is just coming out. Ash
Knight and Paul Lindsay both they clouted each other with some force. So I think they were quite glad to see that pit window open, because they would then be able to repair the damage if needed, as well as change the tyres.
I think a little penalty coming up for one of the drivers. I think it's Lindsay came up with a...
Well, Lindsay, is he still with us? He's if he is, he's dropped behind the GT4 runners. In fact, have we still got Ash Knight in the race? Yes, we do. Yeah, Ash Knight is out. Yeah, so Ryan Rees is pitted.
Taking his pit. Yeah, that's Pollock taking his pit. Got Stryker and the Ferrari, Tobias Ericsson as well. Have all had their pit stop.
It looks like the battle for third is just as close as the lead battle. We've got Daniel Morris.
That's a GT4. So one track, they're just behind the GT3 leaders. We've got the GT4s currently getting split by...
There, right in the background, we saw the third place car of Daniel Morris with... who's that right? Sorry, no, it's Simon Wilkes in third, with Daniel Morris right behind him, yeah.
Indeed.
So the battle for second just as intense as the one for first at the moment. I do, of course, mean third.
Indeed.
Third. And the battle for GT4 lead as well. So yeah, plenty to keep our eye on, and we'll do our very best. But yeah, in all of the go on.
I was going to say GT4's interestingly, how much of their race is disrupted by GT3 sort of taking the middle? The two Porsches still end up fairly close to each other on track, so it doesn't really disrupt their race too much.
I think because they are so close, the GT3 cars are tending to get them both in one, which is why they remain close. But yeah, what's your thoughts on multi-class racing, McRae? I mean, I do enjoy watching it, but it splits opinion amongst the drivers, particularly the GT3 drivers, who obviously don't.
I do enjoy
They
it.
don't deal so well with the slower cars.
I do enjoy it. It's at its best at Le Mans when you've got GT LM cars with the prototypes and things like that. I can't remember what the actual I think it's GTD, or isn't it, when you've got Daytona racing as well? So GTD cars, GT3, and then you've got the LMP1 cars and things like that. It adds an extra depth of racing when you've got the different pace and skill set of drivers, and it's better to watch. You can go from a car that's at the peak of technology to a more sort of average gentleman racing car, all on the same circuit at different paces, and yeah, it adds that extra depth. It's like having like a movable chicane, isn't it? So you're going in a GLM car, and then you've got an extra obstacle to try and deal with. So in endurance race, especially, and endurance racing being as hard as it is.
A bit wide. Sorry to interrupt, but Simon looks a bit wide, and he's gone very wide on the exit of the loop. Very
carried his speed.
But
Morris trying to find the space, couldn't do it. Will he get
Daniel
the inside
Morris
line though?
Is well within his rights to take the line there, but really aggressive defending.
Wilkes defending hard, isn't he? Yes. That's going to cause the red mist on Mr. Morris. You can already see him really pressurising the back bumper.
Fantastic to watch, but the gloves are well and truly off now.
They
so
are
Simon
indeed.
Weeks takes a wide line and he cuts the nose off. Again, very firm but fair defending.
I wondered if we were seeing an F1 repeat then. As they come through cops, but
there's no lobbying of the stewards is allowed in the positive perception GT series either.
No, there isn't. Most of them are on track as well, so you wouldn't really be able to get a word out of them at this rate anyway.
Doors stop them at the pit stops. I don't know, but it looks as though we've had a change for the lead in GT4 because Jake Mills has passed Richard Pixley. So whilst we were watching that full-blooded battle,
there we are. So yes, we do have Mills as the new leader of GT4s.
Yeah, so somewhere in the traffic he has navigated Richard Pixley in the other Porsche. So battle is once again joined. Roles reversed this time. We'll see how the pit stops shake things out.
So that is the battle for third in the GT4s as well, and that remains Rogers and Brown, as it has for a while. Interestingly, both Aston Martins.
Yep, just allowing one of the GT3 cars through. And I mean, Rogers has had a bit of an up and down race. I thought we saw him get a drive through. I don't know if he served that.
Not too sure. Flashed up very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, still got, because he was certainly one of the cars that was involved in that the difficulties with the GT3 GT4 lapping. Oh no, that was his teammate, wasn't it? That was Lee Ward. Very similar coloured cars.
Elbows out for Brown now. Slight trading pain. That was a fair, very forceful, but a fair manoeuvre. Aston Martin are trying to get out of the way of the GT3. The blue flag's going to be waving ferociously. The GT3 can't get through. He's too scared. He wants to let them battle it out.
Well, is that the position though? Because that's Tobias Eriksson, isn't it?
Possibly.
So I
can't see the number.
I mean, they're clearly not racing in the same class, but
it is. Sorry, yes, you were.
Tobias Eriksson is actually behind these two, presumably having taken his pit stop. So yeah, there should be no blue flags because they are racing for position, which is where the lines are blurred further, of course, with the cars being in different classes.
No, the GT3 grunt to the Aston Martin, just the bigger brother, if you will, getting past. But now Anthony Brown, that did slow up Rogers a bit. But Anthony Brown trying to hang on to the slipstream of the GT3 and opening up the gap.
What's happening with our race leaders? Yeah, Remy Papin still behind, but
Who do we have going? Lisa Keane in 25th. Kiki Mack in the pits. 11.
Samin Daragi.
Crowned,
The
yes.
two leaders coming in together. Wow. So no chance
So
for
will
an
we
undercut
see?
here. Remy Papin's practically pushing him down the pit lane. I mean, they're obviously now they're under. This is where sim racing differs from real world racing.
Yes.
They can occupy the same space in the pit lane, as indeed they do. So Papin is at the end of the pit lane. He's ahead of Seville. That could be crucial as they leave the pits. What is Simon Wilkes going to do? Is he going to stay out? He is.
I believe he's past them as he gets to Maggots now. So yeah.
Daniel Morris is in as well. So Wilkes will be the net lead. The current leader. Obviously, it's still Seville and Papin will be the net leaders when they emerge from their stops. Yeah, I wonder who's going to get out of the pit lane first.
Go through all the battles seem to have evened out. We've got JP McKinney just going into the pit as well.
Mighty Lexus. There's Seville leaving the pits, I think, or was that Morris?
That's Morris just leaving his pit box.
Oh, and
big
right out
cars
into
there.
traffic. Big gaggle of traffic again. Tobias Eriksson having to pass those GT4 cars once again.
Papin is 5th, so they exited the pits as they
Absolutely
entered.
nose to tail, yeah. So Remy Papin not quite managing to get the undercut, but
No, the very minor respite they had in the pit stops, and then the racing just resumed straight off the block.
Absolutely, battle is rejoined. And no rear gunner this time for Jonathan Seville like we had in Kyalami. It was himself and teammate Miles Dixon who were up front. Daniel Morris is running well in this race, but is quite some way back because of the I'm just going to call it the GT4 lapping incident, let's say. It was a defining point in the race. I'm sure it
was
much talked about by drivers and stewards alike. In fact, McRae, we were sort of sat in the drivers' briefing, weren't we? The stewards are being pretty firm with drivers in this series.
I think you kind of have to with the amount of drivers we have and the differing opinions and how things will be done. You do kind of have to set them straight a little bit, so that everything is nice and fair and equal for everyone. As we see, Mark Neutlings for the Positive Perception SimSport team. Running his second, still has to have his pits. Stop. See if we can find Lisa Keane. That is 3rd place.
Robert Zantai. Yeah, so he's done well out of the pit stops. That's the wrong way, sir.
I just want to make sure he gets going now. He's not stuck in reverse.
He's stopped at his pit box. But yeah, everyone behind them has them pitted, I believe. There might be a couple who are, certainly the GT3 runners. I mean, there might be a couple who are out of position who are still waiting on. Now, where did Matt Cooley end up? He's not still running, is he? I think he's sadly retired, having qualified so well up in 3rd place.
That's
I
disappointing.
his name on the
no, I hadn't particularly
timing tower.
noticed that. Messenger's come to a stop. What's happened to Gary Messenger?
Oh no! You can't reverse onto the track, young man. That's in the pit lane. Did he miss his pit lane entry? I wonder, and just wondering. Yeah, just do another lap. Might be best. Might be safest.
Does it going again? Adam Bent under pressure from
Morris.
Morris, yep. Get through. Ryan Reese. Trying to chase him down, so that's going to be position again between the two Bentleys.
So Ryan Reese has closed on Daniel Morris in the pit stops.
Mr. Wilkes is now in the pit, I see.
Yes,
lap
indeed.
16.
So, is this going to put Mark Neutelings in the lead of the race? Albeit temporarily, because we know he is still awaiting his pit stop, but this will give us exit the pits. And you know, even after his pit stop, Robert Zantai is still in a very respectable position, just holding on to 10th at the moment, ahead of Ash Knight. Ash has not had a brilliant race. I think he did have to repair his car a little bit after that coming together with Paul Lindsay. And Lindsay himself is... Paul Lindsay was a casualty of that coming together in the early laps.
Possibly. Interesting, Jason Mills leaving his pit as long as he can. I think he's trying to open up the gap as much as he can to Pixley. And Mark Raddenberry's still waiting for, or needs to take a pit. Well, it's 9 minutes remaining for the pit window. Most people have actually got it done.
Yeah, it would be good, I think, if indicator as to who's made their pit and who hasn't.
It's the orange and green.
There we go.
The timing tower.
There is an indicator.
There is an indicator, luckily.
Just testing you, McRae. Well done. Yeah.
There we go. So Neutling's currently leading the race as the orange number 1. He's waiting to take, or has to take his pit. Last not that long before Adrian Seville.
The net leaders still tied right behind him, aren't they? The gap almost at a second now, which I think is the biggest that gap has been all race. Have been pretty much glued together. Now Simon Wilkes came out of the pits behind Daniel Morris and Ryan Rees, so he did lose out slightly in the stops. So watch out for Simon Wilkes. The battle for the final podium position on net, they're currently 4th, 5th and 6th. That looks like it could be quite tasty as we get into the second half of this.
Okay. Indeed. And Alistair Pollock as well. Steady driver. Hasn't made a particular splash, but hasn't made any major incidents, I don't think either.
No, and I want to focus on Alistair for a little bit because he has just become a dad.
Has he?
For the I'm going to say for the first time. He does have 2 kids that he's inherited, but this is his first child was born. Would you believe it? Almost immediately after the end of the season race in the MX5 Cup that we did. So Alistair Pollock finished on the podium, got his first podium of the season, and then went straight to the hospital and became a father.
Oh, wonderful!
So what an evening for him that was.
I wonder which one gave him more joy.
I've got visions of his partners. Like, we need to go now, and Alistair saying, "No, I'm running second. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute." I may be doing him a disservice, of course, but yeah, obviously, we massive congratulations to Alistair, and life changes forever now. So we wish you the best of luck.
Dennis 16th. Was it really? Places slightly. Colin Dunn, one of the stewards of the Positive Perceptions Championship,
having quite a quiet race. Well, I say he's got a lot of GT3 company, but in terms of the GT4 traffic, I've not really seen him in and amongst other GT4 cars in this race. So, yeah, having a quiet one. Now, our leader is in at long last.
The Nightlings takes his pit. Just looking at Keane, who it does say that they have a drive-through for something. So, I think caught up a little bit in some of the incidents with the GT3s. Got one of the Celtic Romance drivers chasing him down at the moment.
So with Neutlings in, that will give the net lead now back to Jonathan Seville. Remy Papin on his rear bumper, as he has been for the duration, which leaves now just our GT4 leader, the other Positive Perception car of Mark Raddenberry, as the only driver yet to pit. At which point Jake Mills will take over the lead, and he's got quite a gap now on Richard Pixley, and Pixley actually is got to look more in his mirrors for the approaching Anthony Brown than he does trying to catch the Porsche of Jake Mills ahead of him.
Brown there in 4th place for the moment. Does look like Mark Bradbury has taken to the pits now.
So everyone getting it done long before the pit window closes.
So the order for the GT4 goes up fairly shortly. There is Daniel Morris in 3rd place.
Ryan Rees and then Simon Wilkes. And we've got that message come up against Mark Neutling's SG30.
So I guess I would imagine stop go from 32nd. But that was only achieved in the last couple of laps. It showed he was in the pit, unless there's
Unless he's sped in the pit lane, of course.
Either that or crossed the line too early, yes.
Yeah,
something he's infringed. A rule he's broken and is immediately been punished for that.
Yeah.
That's
so having taken his stop, you're quite right. So that's a real shame because that puts him up in 7th place. And he'll obviously lose that as he will, just looking at the times, looks like he will drop quite considerably down the order.
So, Mr. Morris getting past Billy Hutchinson in the green 88 Ferrari, who looks to be a couple of laps down, I think, from the overall leaders.
This has been massively held up through Maggots and Beckett's by Mark Raddenbury. He's clear now, but that's fine. It's just one of those
massively held up by those two cars. Trying to find the inside line on the BMW. Just cut the corner just enough to get through.
Raddenbury is let the other car go now, so yes, he had cars on 3 different laps there. They're all shaking themselves out. I think now all sorted themselves out. And the net result of that is that Daniel Morris has got a bit. Simon Wilkes is the one now closing in. So this all for that final to Morris.
The gap opened up again between Seville and Papin. It's come down from the 3 seconds it was before. Whether Papin, I think, trying to hold on as much as he can.
He is closing though. He is definitely getting closer. The gap has come down by another 10th. So Remy Papin. I mean, this is looking battle between these two, doesn't it? They're certainly the 2 quickest this weekend. Midweek race, of course. But the French Godzilla, as you will get a chance to interview him now, won't you, McRae? You'll get to ask him about that.
Where did he come from?
If he's where he does. And Jonathan Civil, definitely 2 of the quickest drivers. But as we've seen, it's all about avoiding the trouble and scoring consistently, and they're certainly both doing that.
Curious to see where Seville actually finished in the last race.
He didn't. He skipped that one.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. Because that was Papin took the win there, and then Simon Wilkes and Ryan Reed.
Yeah. So off the top 5. It's only Daniel Morris who hasn't yet got a podium, but he's on course at the moment. He's extended that gap over Ryan Rees to 3 seconds now.
Neutling still showing us that stop and go penalty, interestingly.
Oh, well,
I'm not sure how long
he hasn't taken it yet.
No, it's who takes that, or that develop into a more severe punishment.
It'd be interesting to see as well how far Daniel Morris is behind the leaders, but of course we don't get his split time until he actually crosses the line. And if Seville and Papin go into another split, as they have just done, then Morris's time disappears again. But yes, it was about 28 seconds, so yeah, quite considerable. He's certainly not finishing any higher than 3rd unless there are problems for the 2 ahead of him. Let's see, the field is spreading out. Who else to keep an eye on? Gary Messenger and Adam Bent are very close together in GT4. It looks like it might be
That's not
The closest battle.
Mr. Dunn, Mr. Baldwin as well had a fairly quiet race as well. Okay.
Yeah. Looking good in the top 10. There's Adam Bent. And he, Gary Messenger's gone missing in that case. So he was in a close battle.
Oh, there we are at the back.
Taking to the air behind him over that big sausage curve on the exit.
There we are.
Presumably a drama. Oh, and look at his bonnet's come up.
I think I think the commentator's curse preemptive there, as I think we just saw him bouncing off the barrier of the final corner there.
Yeah, I love watching Gary Messenger. It's a great livery, and he always gives us something interesting to talk about as well. So
I don't think he'll be too happy himself as providing the show.
He's not lost. He's not lost. So yeah, still going well.
No, but with taking a pit stop to repair that, don't hold out too much hope. He's not going to be last.
Well, I mean,
that's going to be that's not going to help his aero. Put it that way.
If he can drive with it, then fair play to him. Of course, in real life, you'd just be absolutely bricking it that bonnet was going to fly up and completely obscure your vision. So you'd be into the pits in a shot if that happened in real life. But does he come in? No, he does not. So he's obviously decided that the aero is fine, and he will carry on.
Adam Bent's got away scot-free with the battle. Yes.
Yeah. He's in a bit of no man's now.
Morris getting around the back markers. So the gap, 30 seconds to...
Absolutely left Ryan Rees for dead, hasn't he? Simon Wilkes hasn't given up yet, though. They are fairly close, about a second apart.
They're not too far behind him on traffic, with the GT4 leader traffic.
Yeah, Jake Mills.
They've been told to wait, to be patient behind the GT4s through even the longest complex of corners, which he is doing, but that's going to allow Simon Wilkes on his tail.
Yes, indeed.
In the slipstream down the straight, now. Dips to the outside, going into the next corner. Looking as hard as he can, hoping the tyres will hold on.
Bit of a wiggle from both there.
He tried his hardest but couldn't do it.
Rees holds on. That was a great bit of driving. And he did lose out there, but it was absolutely the right thing to do, to be patient. He deserves a special prize for that. Needs one of Matt Cooley's hobnobs. We need that far back in the race.
It does indeed.
Special biscuit for Ryan Rees.
He's found the inside line now as they're heading into Abbey. See how much speed he was carrying. Yes, he didn't want to have to brake there, and that's going to lose him a massive amount of time.
Now, we saw Simon Wilkes defending very robustly from Daniel Morris earlier in the race. He's now had a taste of that with Ryan Rees defending robustly as well, but on both occasions, very fair. I mean, if you're the following driver, you'd probably complain a little bit, but that looked all fine to me. Ryan Rees just putting his car where it needed to be to make sure that there wasn't an Aston Martin-sized gap.
No, it's very good defending. I mean, the Bentley's, I think, probably the widest thing on the circuit at the moment.
It's the widest thing in Northamptonshire, that Bentley.
Exactly, yes. So I don't think it's too hard to try and muscle your way past as they come up to the back of Aaron Messenger's car. Oh,
let's stay watching this. This could be great. I want to see that car again. I want to see that aero. It's like a frog with an open mouth. That car, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah, where's the phone race? There we go. Come on, cameraman, catch up. There we go.
Ryan Rees, he's making a habit of catching cars through Maggotts and Beckett's, isn't he? But it worked out for him this time. Didn't lose too much time.
But with no delays this time for the Bentley, he's able to hold off the Aston Martin as they go through Stowe.
Yeah, half a second in it. Definitely the closest battle on track, although I am keeping my eye on the timing tower. to see whether there might be others brewing, but certainly this one is the battle that's highest up the order, and it's probably, I think, the closest on track as well. So Ryan Rees in the Celtic Bromance Bentley, followed by Simon Wilkes in the SimSport Racing Aston. Oh, and he's got a run again, but again, Ryan Rees knowing exactly how to position his car to defend, just leaving it a little bit from the edge of the circuit to make sure there's not much of a gap to put that Aston in.
Gap between the first and second place cars for the GT4s looks fairly unchanged. I mean, Mr. Mills did a fantastic job, I think, eking out the gap when he had the chance between the pit stops.
Definitely.
So he's just run away with that completely.
It's Matt Rogers who's ended up in third place after the pit stops are shaken out in GT4. Just
Bradbury trying to leave that pit stop as long as possible didn't pay off in the end.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's had a podium before. Let's have a quick check of the results. He certainly didn't get one at Kyalami. No, he didn't. So Mark Rogers' best result so far has been 5th in GT4, so he could be on here for
was that
his
contact
first
between the
podium.
two? Between that was, come on, cameraman, let's have a look. Because that looked a little bit of a tight manoeuvre between, because Adam Bent moved off the racing line a bit through Maggots. I think Sam Wilkes got to the back of that Ginetta very quickly. Luckily, they managed to get round to that instant.
Oh, very wide for Wilkes. Alistair Pollock, I've just noticed, has come back into the pits. So he had made his stop. So this is a second stop for Alistair Pollock. So sadly an unplanned one. Maybe his baby's just woken up and it's his turn to feed.
Quite a fast, could be. Father has taken over from.
Oh no, he's back
Importance
at the
of
pits.
racing.
No,
Okay.
it was a quick one. Mark Neutelings has disappeared from our timing tower, and I'm wondering if this means that he left it too long to serve his drive-through.
Potentially there for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now it's been a real race of attrition. This one. We started with 33 cars. We've lost 10 of them. So. Including, sadly, my personal favourite, Mr. Gary Messenger. He's decided to call it a day. So Adam Bent is now running last of the 23 runners, but still running.
There is still 6 at the moment. There's
26.
There's too many just to show on the timing tower. So 26 at the moment. So that's still a fair amount. That's still.
But yeah, so it's seven cars.
Seven, yeah.
Not in. I think Lee Ward has been sat there for quite some time, like maybe half an hour or more. So yeah, actually 25 runners. Yeah. So we do have Mr. Messenger still in the race. Now Remy Papon's closed in again, hasn't he? He's turning the wick up again.
There we are. 1.3 seconds off. 8 minutes remaining.
Richard Pixley with a drive-through, our GT4 second place driver. I think he's exceeded track limits one too many times. There is a drive-through penalty been awarded to Mr. Richard Pixley. Well. And that calls off the battle, doesn't it, in GT4 now? That is very much Jake Mills' race to lose. Now, can he? He's got a 20-second lead.
He does. It's a drive-through, not a stop and go.
Yeah, so
potentially
it's going to be touch and go whether he can actually come out still in second place in class. But yeah, he's absolutely lost the chance now to
trying to get around the other GT4 car to save time.
Lost the chance to go for the win now. What a shame.
I think missed his entrance for that one.
No, this
isn't his one.
Yeah, this Grand Prix circuit.
This is coming out of club. So still like the whole half the circuit left until the national pit straight.
Yeah, and what makes it worse for him is he is actually closing on Jake Mills, so he's taking a half second out of him. as he gets lapped by Alex Baldwin. With the demise of Mark Neutelings is now up in 7th place, so this is a great run for Baldwin. This is, I think, could be one of his best finishes. Assuming he does finish there, of course. Richard Pixley's lost some time again in that split on Jake Mills, so the gap yo-yoing, but is just about to get quite a bit bigger. Quite a lot of traffic on this straight, isn't there?
Gang on cars all coming together a little bit. Right, so this is going to be Luffield. This will be his pit entrance.
Oh, and just as he peels off, I'd really like to have a look at that battle for 4th and 5th, because Simon Wilkes looks like he's right on the back of Ryan Rees again.
And so that's the first place, Seville. We've got Pollock at split 2. So slowing them up a bit. That is Morris, and that is Rees.
Yeah, there he is. So Simon Wilkes' battle is joined again. We've seen these two cross swords once already this race, or at least once already. The cameraman's
they've
lost again.
There we are. They've not let up the pace at all, have they? Interestingly, Pixley actually stopped in his pit box, unless it counted as just him being in the pit. But it's cleared. I think he's exited.
Yeah, so we'll see what the damage is. But yeah, I don't know where to look now. Whether we keep watching this battle, which we know has a lot of entertainment in it, or the lead battle where we've got Remy Papin now closer than he's been for the last 10 minutes or so.
He is
chasing
indeed.
down Jonathan Smith.
And I think we'll stick with this
left.
one. 5 minutes left. There's traffic ahead of them. There's a couple of cars they have to get round. That is car number 72, which is 10th place. I'm not going to say that. The Porsche number 72.
Santai, who is also trying to put a lap on Matt Rogers, who has emerged, actually. Richard Pixley is behind this gaggle, so Rogers is now up into 2nd place in GT4.
Oh, that was close between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari.
And Papin's right alongside there. He's going to try sweeping around the outside, but Seville's got him covered.
He's trying to carry the momentum as much as he can. I think it's going to be the next couple of corners. He's going to trying to find the outside braking manoeuvre. The Ferrari covers him off. Not yet up to the loop. He needs to stay. He needs to be on that Ferrari down the straight if he's going to have a chance.
It's the closest he's been, isn't it?
It is.
This is the time of the race where you've got to make the move.
The Ferrari's trying to lose him. Round the outside, side by side. He backed out of that though.
Not enough grip for the big old Bentley around there, but he's knocking on the door, isn't it? He's battering on the door.
He is trying to find the door. Little unsettled on the exit of Luffield. He's in the slipstream still.
The lights are ablaze on all cars now as the light starts to fade. But what a battle this is. 57 minutes in and still going head to head, and there's yellow flags up ahead. So has someone gone off the track? Yellows are back in, so maybe it was only a temporary excursion. Now out into the hangar straight once again. This is where he wants to find the slipstream. Remy Papin. He's not close enough to make a move this lap. More GT4 traffic.
He's managed to hold on to the back of that Ferrari more than he has in some other points in the race.
Oh, and that was that could have ended badly there. The GT4 driver just getting in the way.
That was a contact between Lee Ward and the GTR.
And that has surely ended it for our lead battle. Remy Papin now drops behind. Lee Ward, I think, was aware of the first car coming through but did not see the second. And, well, we saw this at Kyalami, didn't we, with Miles Dixon caught out in the dying moments, lapping a back marker. We've just seen the same happen, not to quite such a detrimental extent, but for Remy Papin, I think, sadly, his assault on the lead of this race has come to an end now. 2
minutes remaining. That's a massive gap to 2 seconds to try and gain. It took all of his efforts to get as close as he was to Ferrari by the end. That was a weird. I mean, I couldn't. Again, I looked away for just too long. Same with the other incident as well. I looked away at the wrong moment. But I think maybe the Aston Martin sort of lost it on the brakes a bit, and pushed because he'd aimed for sort of the inside line coming to the end of club, or the beginning of club rather, after Vale. So I don't know whether he missed his braking point because of the looming Nissan that had appeared next to him.
I still wonder whether he saw him, because he certainly let Jonathan Seville through.
He wasn't on the racing line particularly, so I wasn't sure if he tried to move across or if he'd stuck to his line, maybe that UCL could have gone around the outside perhaps, but no.
Oh, well, I'm sure the stewards will debate it, so
yes,
save us.
That's going to be a bit of a headache for them, but I mean, Papin's still holding on to a very respectable second place.
Yes, and where they are on the lap, they're going to get one more lap out of this. I think this isn't going to be the final lap, so Jonathan Seville will cut the timing beam probably with about 20 seconds to spare, and this will be then our going on to our final lap now.
Yes, they will.
There he goes, past the GT4 leader, Jake Mills, who's been untroubled in the second half of this race. Behind them, though, Richard Pixley is closing on Matt Rogers at a vast rate of knots. The gap now 2 seconds. Now, where is Pixley on track? Does he have another lap?
There we go.
He's in there somewhere. There he is. Yeah, so they've got Alistair Pollock between them in the GT3 car. There is Richard Pixley, and behind him is Mark Raddenbury. So that's second, third, and fourth in GT4. All not quite in the same shot, but yeah, they've got this lap. This is this will be their final lap.
But I don't think they'll be able to manage that.
So
there we are.
And Jonathan Seville's just ahead of this. There is the checkered flag.
Seville takes the win.
Ash
Just
Knight
managed to get back to him in time, but yes.
Yeah, well, Ash Knight in ninth, and of course it was Knight and Seville fighting for the win last time we saw them at Kyalami. Ash Knight just going a lap down here. Ryan Rees, I think, is going to hold on to fourth.
Jake Mills taking the win, GT4, yes.
Yep. So where is Rogers and Pixley? They have finished. They have finished. Yeah. So Pixley just misses out. Yeah. Rogers takes second.
The Reeson will finish fourth and fifth.
Half a second apart. Right. Callum McGoth's had a very quiet race. We've not seen much of him. He's going to finish sixth.
There we have already in the pit, Papin. I'm sure wondering what could have been.
Yes, indeed. We'll get his thoughts and indeed those of Jonathan Seville as well. Morris, he had some great battles early on in the race, but very quiet last 20 minutes, finishing a good half a minute adrift of the battling top two. Which is almost the margin enjoyed by Jake Mills, so I'm sure he'll be delighted when we talk to him. So we'll just wait for everyone to cross the line. There are guys out there, of course, still running, including our sixth place driver, Callum McGough, who has now come across the line. But yeah, great showing once again from Kiki Mack. He is consistent, isn't he? Top tens.
He's certainly battle scarred in his car, isn't he?
Say again?
He's certainly battle scarred on that car after his finish.
Quite a few. Yeah, so
there we are.
We will await everyone to come to an end, as indeed they have. And yes, we are going to our top three from each of the classes.
Cool, wonderful. Yes, so fantastic win there for both of the class. Let's see who is going to jump in first?
I'm just going to try and gather ball guys in.
Just drag them over.
Yeah. So we'll look at GT4 first. Of course, Jake Mills our winner in that, and then GT3 we will bring in as well.
Cool. So while we wait for the leaders to get in, we'll just have a look at the calendar for the moment, because we have. So we've currently completed Kyle Army Imola on the 22nd. Today was Silverstone, and the next week, I believe, on the 5th in August already. Summer coming to a close, but we have Spa Francorchamps, which will be a very exciting race. It's always a very entertaining circuit to watch. A proper GT endurance track. Yeah, no mandatory pit stops for that one, so it's just going to be, I believe, a straight hour of racing at Spa. So that's going to be a very interesting one for all of the races to watch. Another good well-known circuit for everyone. Of course, if you're joining the stream, don't forget to like and follow as well. Subscribe to the channel. We do have some more streams planned as well. We have a whole 3 weeks of the GT racing and further streams in the future. We need to find someone to talk to. Where are the winners? I'm sure they'll be all happy to talk about experiences.
We've got someone in. I think Richard Pixley's just gone to see the stewards.
No, wasting no time there.
Yeah, he will be joining us. But let's hop into the interview room and see who we've got.
Cool. Jump down. Good evening. You're going to have to remind us who you are. I'm not sure what that name is. Death.
Other people.
Is it still push to chat? Is it? I get it. Yes. So
welcome.
Is M Rogers? Mark Rogers.
Good evening, Mark. How are you?
Good.
Congratulations on your first podium.
I don't know how that happened. What happened to Mr. Pixley? Where did he go? We don't know. He pitted.
He had a drive through, which.
Oh, did he? What track limits?
Potentially. It doesn't.
Yes,
it's not all clear the reason why to us, but yes, he did have a drive-through that.
Must have been track limits then. I was
currently
on
having a conversation with the stewards. But yeah, talk us through the race from your perspective, because obviously there was quite a lot going on in GT4 that we tried to keep track of, and you just seemed to serenely avoid it all.
Consistency, that's it. Yeah. Well, good start. Yeah, nice, good start. There was a bit of mayhem, just stayed in tight, tucked in behind the others. Then Mr. Brown caught me up. We had a good little race, but I just didn't have the pace. And then it was a case of just staying super, super consistent. And you always hope for the odd drive-through or something that happens, and then you're okay. So yeah, Aston didn't have a lot of pace, but it was consistent. But you've just got to be so careful with those GT3s. They dive bomb you from miles back.
Yeah, so there were certainly a few instances of that, which I'm sure the stewards will be discussing at great length. But did you manage to avoid any big incidents?
Yeah, no, absolutely clean. Managed to judge where the GT3s were coming, and I think that's the key, is to let them go at the right point. Learn which ones are going to dive inside. Apart from that, it was pretty uneventful. Tyres were overheating a little bit in the first stint as the track temp came up, so my fronts were just slipping, so I backed them off a little bit in the pits. Apart from that, it was an uneventful race.
Yeah, and as you said right at the very start, consistency was king, and it's got you your first podium, which is great. Congratulations to you. we're halfway through the season now. Do you reckon another podium is in the offing in any of the remaining rounds?
Got to find some more pace. I'm not really used to the GT4, so I've got to find some more pace. I think the curbs is the secret with the GT4s. Just smash them because it just goes over the top. So yeah, hopefully we'll stay up there. Mr. Raddenbury's getting quicker and quicker, which is a bit of a worry. But yeah, no, hopefully another podium will be in for a crack. We'll get some good circuits. Unfortunately, Imola and Silverstone are probably my two favourites. So we'll just have to see.
Good to bank the points. Well, well done, and thank you for talking to us. Good luck in the next one.
No probs. Good. Thank you for your time.
Problem. I think everyone has departed slightly, so I'm just going to jump back up to the broadcasting.
We can grab some GT3. I'd be quite keen, obviously, to talk to our top two, Seville and Remy Papa.
Let's see if we can find them. So I hadn't had it as of yet, but looking at comment, Jamie Buchanan DC'd on the formation lap, so great shame you did join us, Jamie. Apologies. Matt Cooley disconnected.
Very harsh.
Very harsh, yeah.
Now we've got our two Pulse SimSport representatives ready and waiting in the interview room, so let's head across.
Cool. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
How was the racing this evening for you two?
Sweaty.
Nice and
Jonathan,
concise.
if we could start with you. Last time we spoke to you at Kyalami, you'd sort of missed out on the win after getting held up after the pit stops. This time, no such problems out front. You had a really, really good battle with Remy for pretty much the entire race. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a lot gap to second, so I didn't really know what to expect. But Papin had really good pace in the race. So I was having to keep on it to make sure he didn't close the gap. And a much better pit stop this time. Came out in a lot cleaner air.
Yeah, and you've got your win, which you're aiming for.
Yeah,
more to follow. Are you doing? I know you had to miss the last round. Are you doing any more out in this campaign, or are you with us to the end now?
I'm missing next week. I know that, fortunately. I'm around. Yeah, not next week, fortunately.
That's no problem. So it's all about just bagging the wins for you now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yes, great race-long battle. We've got your teammate in the chat as well. So Daniel, bit of a different race for you. It was all quite close in the opening laps for GT3, and then coming together between several of the cars in that that pack from third through to sixth, and you managed to make your way through it.
Yeah, I had a good start. Got up to third from fourth. Was following Johnny and Remy for pretty much the first 15-20 minutes. Was fiddling control, so spun at the hairpin, and went down to that. Good pit stop and managed to get myself back up to P3. So
I think you probably dodged a bullet with the spin, to be honest, considering what went on ahead of you. But I mean, this is your first podium, I think, of the season.
it is, yes.
Are you? I mean, there's so many Pulse SimSport, which is great to see. Are you sort of with the schedulers, Jonathan?
I am. Yeah, I will be missing next week as well.
Okay, well, we look very much forward to seeing you towards the end of the season then.
Yes, I will be doing more events.
Good, fantastic. Well, yes, thank you for talking to us, and yeah, hope to speak to you again soon.
Cheers, guys.
No worries.
Fantastic. It's almost like real GT racing at this point, where the pit drivers sort of pick and choose what they want to do. Yeah, but yes, no, that explains a lot of just a little mistake. The button calls the spin. But you said there's such a recovery drive getting back from 8th to 3rd.
Fantastic, yes. And it's one of those things with traction cuts you down, but then much better to have it on. So. Yeah. It might have lost him. Some drivers switch it off, but it lost him the chance to really have a go for the lead. But yeah, a great recovery drive through to 3rd. Unfortunately, McRae, we don't get to ask Mr. Papin about his. We might have to wait and hope he gets a podium next time
I'm
round.
determined to find out what the inspiration is for that. But yes, fantastic. It was a pleasure having you in the commentary box once again, Toby.
Yeah, great race at Silverstone. I think I can imagine, just based on some of the things we've seen on stream and the absolute torrently going through our Discord server, that the stewards may have a busy week again this week. But we will await to see. But doesn't change the result. Your winner, Jonathan Seville from Remy Papin. What a fantastic race-long battle that was.
It was indeed. So yes, fantastic. We'll speak to you again next week.
Thank you very much, and good night, everyone.
Toby in there, one of the very higher up in the VRCC. So yes, hello. Thank you for being patient while we have slight still technical issues going on during the stream. We are trying. We've overcome one. There's still a few more to do, clearly. But yes, hopefully you're enjoying the show, and like to the channel for more. Speak, as I said, is Spa. Could be a good race. Spar's very good track to watch. And yeah, next week. I hope you all have a good week. And see you soon.